Alright boys, we're back in the room today because we need to do an important ICP update while we're getting the studio videos ready, guys, because I don't want to leave you in the dark. We're going to look at what I'm looking at in the chart today. And firstly, I want to say that we have had a lovely sentiment reset, guys. Okay, so we were in the greed region, very close to extreme greed. I'm glad we didn't go up that high. We've now had a reset back into neutral. If we get another dip lower, then obviously we're going to go into fear again. However, I don't think at this stage of the market it would make so much sense for us to go back down into fear. And if we do, then we need to start thinking about the market in a different way. Now, I actually did update my members club today. Again, 50% off if anyone does want to join. That we're getting into the very late stages of the market right now, guys. I want to remind you of the 500 days before and after the halving. What you're going to see, guys, when we go through all the different halving cycles is by the 500th day-ish after, we would be near to a top, or in some cases have already topped. Now, go cycle by cycle. Cycle 1, right? This is 0, okay, on this line here. This is when the halving occurred. Cycle 1, around 366 to 70 days after the halving, cycle 1 had topped, right? You can see that very clearly here, the green line. Cycle 2, this blue line, took us all the way to around 500 days after the halving. I think this one actually went a little bit longer. I think it was like 500 and something else days, 520 days. Maybe after the halving where Bitcoin did top. You go to cycle 3, and this was an earlier cycle, right? So around 330-ish days, give or take, right? 335 days after the halving, Bitcoin had topped. Cycle 4, where are we now, guys, right? The previous all-time high was around 450 days. So between 350-ish days to 500 days, we see some sort of tops for Bitcoin, guys. And what we're waiting for is for our altcoins to now have their runs and take dominance of Bitcoin. And when does that happen, guys? It usually happens once Bitcoin has topped. Now, right now, what we're seeing is Bitcoin potentially forming some sort of bull flag, right? Maybe we do have breakout targets to around 135k if we can get that high, okay? So 130k looks like it could be on the cards if we do start to break 123k. Maybe 135 to 141k could be like a bull case scenario for this next move. But realistically, you know, I front run these and I say maybe like 128k because this is going to be a big psychological level for a lot of traders, right? 130k, round number, they're probably going to close their positions before them. And the big whales will definitely be closing their positions before then, guys. Now, at the moment, it is the Ethereum show. And I posted this yesterday. I mean, climbing up the stairs is great and is the best way to sustain bullish momentum. Right now, we've seen a bottom, right? Had our first pump out. Consolidation, pump out, now in another consolidation. Usually we get some sort of sweep of the lows of the range before we do continue higher. Again, upper area of the range would be 3.8k. If we can't break it, we come back down to like 3.4k, guys. And everybody's putting a lot of pressure on the rate cuts. Now, if the rate cuts happen in September, that's going to be another 30 days on from today. And what did we say historically? Around 500 days by then, Bitcoin would have topped. So it would make sense that we get rate cuts. This is going to be similar to something like the inauguration, where everyone assumed that as soon as the inauguration happened, that we would start to go up forever. I'm in the camp of thinking, right, if we see rate cuts, maybe we do start to price them in towards the end of this month. We'll see how the Fed rate decision on FedWatch does change. And remember, don't use Polymarket, use FedWatch. If it does go close to like 90%, we probably should start to have a significant pump out of this month, guys. And you'll probably start to see a lot of altcoins be repriced. If not, probably stagnant for a little while longer. But I do think that the rate cut's not necessarily going to mean up only for another year. It probably will mark, in my opinion, a top or close to a top for this cycle. So we're saying that. I'm not saying that we're going to top right now. I'm not saying we're going to top, you know, in the next few weeks. But I'm just saying I am on high alert for top signals. And some of you guys are going to be like, well, the altcoins haven't moved yet. Now, ICP, whether we like it or not, has been a pretty shitty performer over the past few years, okay? So similar to you guys, you know, I held through this move, and we're still back holders. I do think we're still in a clear accumulation, right? We haven't actually dropped any lower, still forming higher lows on the macro time frame. I mean, this is the daily, but you go to the weekly and it just looks like we are coiling up very, very close towards the end of the year. And usually these things break out before the apex. So maybe if we do get to, I don't know, midway through August, end of August, September, we'd like to see a breakout. But we do need to see Bitcoin top first, and then us to have that rotation. Now, I don't know what this squiggle's about. I think I was saying maybe for some sort of lower high and then have a continued breakdown. Right now, we're still finding support on this trend line. I think we're on regular. Yeah, that would be why. So we're finding support on this trend line right now, guys. Okay, realistically, we need some market share from Bitcoin to then roll over into Ethereum, to then roll over into our altcoins. And I do think somewhere around here, around 55%, would be where we do bottom for Bitcoin dominance and top for our altcoin rally. Remember, this move here saw altcoins move like 100%, right? And it was just a 7% move. So if we got, you know, from where we are now all the way to the bottom, another 14% move, could be another couple hundred percent, maybe a little bit more gains for a lot of our altcoins. Some will obviously outperform, right? So this is where my eyes on the prize are right now. We're still finding support on this trend line. We really do need to break below it. But when it comes to things like ICP, guys, right now, there's not really too much to say apart from it's been accumulating for a matter of weeks now. But what is this, like probably 2.5 months? It's been in this range between $6 and $4.50-ish. So again, there's not too much to report on ICP right now. It's just a waiting game. And the reason that I'm able to wait a little bit longer is because I did diversify. You know, I've got a lot of fingers in different pies. You know what I'm trying to say, guys? We've got a lot of other positions as well, which means that when coins like this are just accumulating sideways, I'm not really trying to worry about swapping my bag or, you know, saying ICP isn't doing anything, I'm swapping it for this. So many of you guys leave me comments saying I'm swapping it for this because this outperformed and this outperformed. Those are the mistakes that I made in the last run, guys, where I was trying to catch the pump. Again, if ICP underperforms compared to some of the other coins in my portfolio, it doesn't really matter to me because we diversified. Okay, so not too much to report for ICP. Hopefully, we can break out of this accumulation range in the coming weeks. Eyes on the prize for Bitcoin would be the range high at around 118k. Realistically, wouldn't really want to lose 111k. And then we'll see if ETH can start to break out from its range as well, guys. But that's it. That's just a quick ICP update from me to you. Are we close to a top? What do you think about the rate cuts? You let me know in the comments. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe if you are new. I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.